call from Suge one time.
Yeah.
He's out of prison.
He said Cal ain't big enough for me, him, and Puff.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, I say, when you moving? Because I just bought a house.
You know.
Man, I grew up in the Galileo project.
right.
Ain't nobody gonna solve press me, man.
Right.
I don't care who you is.
Not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Right.
I mean, terrified.
I know.
No.
Back in the late 90s, three forces ruled Los Angeles: earthquakes, traffic, and Suge Knight. But while the first two just messed up your commute, Suge could end your career or your life. The man wasn't just powerful, he was terrifying. He didn't walk into rooms, and he loomed like a storm cloud ready to strike. Suge Knight ran death row records like a mafia don with Hollywood swagger. Tupac, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg were megastars, but even they moved under Suge's shadow. His name alone made executives sweat and rivals vanish from the map. So when a bold newcomer touched down in LA and didn't check in with Suge, people thought he'd lost his mind. That newcomer, Master P. And he wasn't just some southern rapper looking for fame. He was a one-man revolution.
Everybody else was scared of everybody. That's when Suge Knight was the monster, the boogeyman.
Coming straight out of New Orleans, P had vision, hustle, and a brain sharper than any contract lawyer in the game. Where Suge ruled through fear, P ruled through finesse. Suge demanded loyalty, P earned it. I was working against the devil, and through the grace of God, I put a deal together, Master P once said. And that deal changed everything. His philosophy was simple but radical. Artists should own their work, not be slaves to record labels.
Everybody at that time was deadly afraid of shit.
I was working against the devil, and through the grace of God, Master P put a deal together.
They spent all this money on your album and marketing, but wasn't getting no way out ass money. On No Limit had money. Everybody on No Limit had a house, a car, two in a bank account.
That idea made him dangerous, not to the streets, but to the system. Soon, the biggest names in the game, Suge Knight, Diddy, and Birdman, saw P as a threat. He was breaking rules, flipping contracts, and teaching artists the power of independence. With No Limit Records, Master P didn't just build a label, he built an empire. His artists got money, respect, and ownership, something unheard of at the time. No Limit wasn't just a label, it was a movement. And Master P was the general leading it all. This movement blew up fast. Suge Knight was used to running the West Coast like a king on his throne, but Master P wasn't bowing to anyone. He came in bold, made it known loud and clear. No Limit was here to take over, and there would be no checking into Suge's kingdom.
Puffy and them was rocking, but they wasn't getting no money like Master P was. And I had been around they camp, I had been around Def Jam, I was on Death Row.
I've never been afraid of no man, P once said, and he meant it. While Suge was out there throwing punches and starting battles, Master P was stacking money and flipping hustle into generational wealth. By the time he hit LA, he already had a whole empire in motion. But things turned explosive when he set his sights on signing none other than Snoop Dogg. At the time, Suge's death row empire was falling apart fast.
I seen all the that supposedly had the money. Master P had the money.
True independence.
He had the money.
Lawsuits, arrests, and betrayal had it cracking from the inside. By 1997, it was basically on life support, and everyone could feel the tension in the air. Snoop needed an escape route, a fresh start far from all the chaos and bloodshed that surrounded death row.
I've never been afraid of no man. I told Snoop, we the biggest company in the world now. If he needed a home, why not be with us?
P saw opportunity and history in the making. We represent the South, and we're on top. Why not join us, he told Snoop. It wasn't just a business pitch. It was an invitation to freedom. But Suge Knight wasn't letting his biggest artist walk away without a fight.
So it's my job to keep that on top of the rap game. Ever since we've been in it, we've been on top, so I can't let us fall.
Everyone around that time was terrified of Suge. Everyone but Master P. He didn't flinch, didn't back down, and didn't care about the threats. He knew this wasn't just about signing an artist, it was about survival and legacy.
Years don't get much more emotionally trying than the one Snoop Doggy Dogg has just gone through. Surviving a murder trial.
Not guilty of the crime of murder in the first.
So P did what only a true boss could do. He went straight to the source, met with Suge in prison, crunched the numbers, and came with real money on the table. A few million to start, and then he sweetened the deal even more until it was done. When the ink dried, it was official.
Death Row Records mastermind Marion Suge Knight has been in lockdown for violating state probation by beating the hell out of some guy at a Las Vegas casino.
Snoop Dogg was now a No Limit soldier, and the energy was electric. His first concert under No Limit had fans going crazy. People were tired of the drama, they wanted something new, and they welcomed Snoop like family. Snoop wasn't just switching labels, he was plotting revenge.
But Suge became too invested in hood politics that brought the business down.
Right after signing with No Limit, he was ready to fire shots straight at Suge Knight. His plan?
Suge was in jail, but that doesn't mean Suge is not still coming at it.
Drop an album titled Fat Death Row.
My business was garbage back then, Death Row Records. I let them control everything because I trusted them and I felt like they wouldn't do me wrong. They put me in the game.
A full-on diss aimed at the man and the label that had once made him a star. For Snoop, it wasn't about clout, it was about release.
Everything was in Suge Knight's name. Business accounts was his accounts, manager was his wife. Imagine all of that being twisted up like an octopus. On top of that, I was being just disrespected, like, oh, he's whack.
He'd been holding in years of anger, betrayal, and pain, and this was his way to finally let it out.
Oh, I told Snoop, we the biggest company in the world now. If he needed a home, why not be with us?
But Master P saw the bigger picture, and he saw danger written all over it.
And that's when Master P stepped in and gave me a better situation.
I respected Snoop as an artist. I was a fan. I felt like Snoop needed a team.
Suge might have been behind bars, but his reach on the streets was still very real. Dropping a diss like that could have turned into more than just rap beef.
Me, Suge, and Master P were the same kind of people.
Probably sell about 10 million this time.
Two brilliant, business-minded, Fortune 500 guys from the street.
It could have turned fatal. Picture it. The beat was done, the lyrics were loaded, and Snoop was ready to pull the trigger.
Everybody at that time was deadly afraid of shit.
But Master P, calm and strategic, stepped in with wisdom that came from survival instincts.
Master P went to go visit Suge Knight in the penitentiary and struck a deal.
That Row had to sell Snoop to keep the business rolling. No Limit, we could make a business move like that.
Don't do it, he told Snoop. Not because he was scared, but because he knew the streets. One track could have cost Snoop his career, or even his life.
I met with Suge Knight and said, look, man, what you want for Snoop? I heard that you got a deal on the table.
Suge's crew was still out there, loyal and dangerous. P made the call. No diss, no back and forth, no bloodshed over ego. In that moment, he didn't just protect an artist, he protected a man.
Conversation, they got to understand it. Worked out some numbers.
Told me what it was. And I put an extra $200,000 or $300,000 on.
Snoop later admitted himself that Master P saved his life. And looking at what was happening in hip-hop at that time, he wasn't exaggerating. Walking away from Death Row was like walking through a minefield.
I mean, he showed me how to put business because I hadn't had a record label. I was always talking that doggy style, but I didn't have no record label. Master P showed me how to put a label together, how to go get money.
It wasn't just a career move. It was an act of rebellion in a world where rebellion could get you unalive.
Told him I wanted $3,500 because I was broke and I was just like, could he get some money? P gave me a check for $35,000. All right, he put another zero on that motherfucker. It's my kind of nigga.
Then came the legendary I Got the Hookup comedy jam in 1998 at Universal City. The crowd was wild, the energy electric, and the place was sold out.
Oh my God, we own it now.
I was like, ooh, I wanted to get on it, but damn, it wasn't my album, it wasn't my song.
Down with No Limit, I ride for the cause.
On stage, it was all laughs and music, but backstage, it was battle brewing in the shadows. Snoop was chilling in the green room, cool and calm before hitting the stage, until everything flipped in seconds. Out of nowhere, 7 men in black, Death Row affiliates, surrounded him.
I did 3 albums with Master P.
3 albums?
Yeah, when I left Death Row Records, I signed with No Limit Records, which was the hottest rap label in the industry. When I signed with No Limit Records, they was the hottest.
The air went from laughter to straight panic.
Master P, he had a plan for us. He ran down what he thought that should happen as far as music, albums, movie.
You could feel the tension explode in that tiny space.
So in 1998, Master P did a I Got the Hookup comedy jam at the Universal Amphitheater in Universal City, California.
I'm a big fan of Master P, and I'm just looking forward. He's just constantly breaking history.
Word spread like wildfire. Master P's crew heard what was going down and dropped their mics mid-performance. In seconds, the stage turned into a stampede. Camouflage shirts and red bandanas flooded backstage. It was chaos, chairs flying, fists swinging, the air thick with rage.
Went on the stage, and Dogg got left.
He was in the green room.
So this is what happened. But we sitting on the inside. Death Row guys walk up. So we chopping it up. 5 minutes later, it's about 7 of them around me. I ain't paying attention. So the soldiers then went on stage. Now I'm back here talking to these deaf about myself.
It wasn't just a scuffle. It was battle breaking loose inside a sold-out show.
We end up yapping and yapping and yapping. They talking behind my ear. So I'm like, let me holler at you. So now they were like, you owe Suge apology. I'm like, Suge. Like, what?
Police swarmed the scene, guns drawn, and helicopters buzzed over the building. In the middle of the madness, Snoop ran straight into the cops' arms. Literally. They handcuffed me and threw me in the back of the police car, he later recalled. Meanwhile, everyone thought Death Row's crew had gotten to him.
Snoop was talking crazy to them, and they called him slipping.
Hey, now I'm back here talking to these Death Row niggas about myself. Try to take off on him. Oh, he missed. I get out of there.
No one knew where Snoop was, and rumors spread that he'd been jumped or worse. But when the dust settled, reality hit. Some people were cuffed, others had scattered, and somehow, Snoop and Ray J came out safe. I ain't making this up, man, Snoop said later, still shocked by how wild that night got.
They literally ran off the stage in the middle of the performance. And boom, and everybody was like running out the gate, so we run after.
DJ's got the record spinning. There's gunshot.
One thing was crystal clear. Master P wasn't to be messed with. That night, he showed the world he wasn't just a rapper or a businessman, he was a leader. No Limit wasn't just a record label anymore. It was a fortress, a family, and a statement of power. After that chaos, Snoop was No Limit for life. And Master P, he didn't slow down for a second. He went into full boss mode, expanding his empire beyond music.
I get a whiz, no cuts, no scars, no hits, no nothing, but I run right into the law with weed in my pocket and everything because I'm trying to save my life. They handcuffed me. He put me in the back of the police car.
Movies were next on the list. No Limit Films took over Hollywood with hits like I Got the Hookup and Hot Boys. Then came a $10 million deal with Trimark. Studios didn't just want him in their projects, they wanted him running them.
They didn't know where Snoop was. They're screaming, where the is Snoop? Snoop, all right. The 20 cops aiming shotguns at him. They're screaming back, you all need to get on your knees, everybody on your knees. And they're like, we ain't getting on our knees.
And just when people thought he'd done it all, P switched lanes again.
They take me and my cousin Daz to jail, and when we get in there, Ray J's in there. So we spend 4 hours in jail with Ray J. I ain't making this up, man.
Stepping into the wrestling ring, he took No Limit to WCW, pulled off a $2 million deal, and proved he didn't care about belts. He was all about bags. That's the Master P blueprint. Pivot, elevate, dominate. Then, like it was nothing, he aimed for the NBA. The Toronto Raptors gave him a preseason shot, and P was out there hooping alongside Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady. And get this.
No Limit did prove to Snoop that we had his back.
He's not with Death Row no more. He's with No Limit. Nobody's messing with Snoop. That's it.
He held his own. A $3 million contract was almost locked in before front office politics iced the deal. Still, think about it. The man went from rap beefs to running drills with NBA legends. Who else can say that? Through it all, Master P never folded, never faked it, never flinched. While Suge Knight's empire fell apart under ego and chaos, P's legacy grew through strategy, hustle, and vision. That so-called check-in moment proved one thing. They picked the wrong one to test.
In 1999, we want to expand our brand. So we did action movies, and we were able to sell that in about 30 different territories.
And that's how Master P got a $10 million 5-picture deal with Trimark. Nobody in hip-hop was doing that. Nobody.
We expanded, and just might see me on Scream 3 too.
The boogeyman finally met his match, and the real boss walked away crowned. By the early 2000s, Suge Knight was locked up, but you wouldn't know it from how he talked. Even behind bars, he was still acting like he ran the whole industry.
A $3 million one-year deal on the table, and the next day, they decided to go a different direction because Vince Carter, agent Tank, had got in trouble.
In one wild prison interview, Suge went scorched earth, claiming that Master P didn't just take inspiration from Death Row.
If you got ran out of there, you went to the Bay. Once you get on the West Coast, shit get real on the Bay.
He was trying to be Death Row, According to Suge, P was hopping from city to city, New Orleans to Texas, then the Bay, and finally LA. And that's when, in Suge's words, things got real. He tried to clown Master P, saying P didn't have real muscle around him and wasn't truly built for the streets. But of course, Suge wasn't done throwing shade. He came for everything.
You lied and said you came to visit me in prison, which you never did. You said you got Snoop for me, which you never did. I sold Snoop bitch ass to Priority Records and Brian Turner.
Suge bragged that while Death Row dropped classics like The Chronic, Doggy Style, and All Eyes on Me, nobody in prison was bumping No Limit.
I had people talking to me, and they said, Cash Money's looking for a distribution deal, and I was prepared to do it. But P was really serious about not letting us sign Cash Money.
He even claimed Master P never visited him inside and that Snoop wasn't really signed, just loaned to No Limit.
He said, yeah, if you sign those guys, there's going to be a big problem.
The pettiness was unreal.
Money ended up signing with Universal.
It was the way it was supposed to happen. These guys went and built something that was supposed to be a part of Southern hip hop too.
Then Suge went lower, mocking the No Limit tank logo, the chains, even the way Master P raised his kids. It was personal now. But the irony? While Suge was stuck reliving faded memories, Master P was out there building empires, music, movies, real estate. He was stacking wins while Suge was stacking complaints. Suge accused P of everything, stealing Tupac tracks, copying ad-libs from female artists, even buying his own records to fake sales numbers. He called him a country bumpkin who didn't belong in the game. But deep down, it sounded less like confidence and more like bitterness. Because the truth? Whether or not Master P borrowed a little inspiration from Death Row, he flipped the blueprint.
Got too comfortable with being at the top.
Master P was working on everything but music, which he seemed to be fine with.
Death Row artists got paid in lawsuits and trauma. No Limit artists got paid in checks and equity. Suge built chaos, P built ownership. One empire burned out, the other kept expanding. So maybe, in a twisted way, Suge was right. Maybe Master P did try to be like Death Row. But the way a student tries to be better than the teacher. And when the smoke cleared, there was no question who really evolved the game. The student didn't just learn, he surpassed the master.
Beats by the Pound got into a little beef with P.
They felt they were worth more. Percy was also very busy.
But Suge wasn't the only heavyweight P had to go toe-to-toe with. Next up, a rivalry with another Southern power player, Birdman. And that clash brought a whole new kind of heat. New Orleans wasn't just cooking gumbo, it was cooking up legends. The city became the birthplace of two powerhouse labels that changed Southern hip-hop forever, No Limit Records and Cash Money Records. On one side stood Master P, the Calio Project's hustler who took his grind out west and turned Richmond, California into the headquarters of a full-blown empire.
Cash Money Records taking over for the 99 in the 2000s.
You got Cash Money following the blueprint that Master P laid out.
They were kind of grinding in a parallel state with No Limit, but P was kind of away doing his thing.
On the other side were brothers Brian Birdman Williams and Ronald Slim Williams, the uptown bosses who built Cash Money right out of the Magnolia Projects. Both camps came up around the same time, 1991, and both had a vision to take over the game. But even though they came from the same city, they were never allies. There was always a quiet tension, a competition for who would wear the crown of the South. While Master P was rewriting the rules of the independent hustle, selling tapes out the trunk, flooding the streets with product, and stacking millions, Cash Money was still building its foundation.
From the ground up and work our way to the top. We don't have no limit.
P was like, some of us ain't gonna make it.
I have to really change my life.
Their early artists like Kilo G, UNLV, and Pimp Daddy gave them local respect. But the real magic happened when they brought in Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG, with Manny Fresh cooking up those iconic beats. That's when Cash Money found their sound. Meanwhile, Master P was turning No Limit into a music machine. He brought his brothers Silk the Shocker and C Murder on board, signed the fierce Mia X, and locked in KLC and Beats by the Pound to craft that unmistakable No Limit sound, raw, loud, and unstoppable. Soon, the label became a magnet for New Orleans talent. Mystical, Fiend, Kane, and Abel, Mr. Servon, and Soulja Slim all joined the ranks.
But it was a great first deal. He got to own his masters, which was a wonderful thing. It was an 80-20 split, if I remember correctly. It did grow to be an 85-15.
I was able to get an 80-20 deal and do this. Now you got all these other companies coming. You building and creating all this other wealth so we can help our communities and our culture.
And every single drop was a hit. But P wasn't just flooding the market. He was owning it. Then came the move that changed hip-hop business forever. Master P's groundbreaking distribution deal with Priority Records, an unheard of 85-15 split, in his favor. That meant most of the profit went straight to No Limit. From that moment, P wasn't playing catch-up. He was setting the pace. While No Limit was running full speed, releasing album after album and raking in millions, Cash Money was still grinding back home, making noise but without the same machine behind them. At least, not yet. But that was about to change, and the rivalry between these two southern empires was only getting started. Cash Money was making noise in the South, moving serious units through Southwest wholesale. But if they wanted to go national, they needed a major label behind them. And that's when things started to heat up. At one point, Master P and his No Limit camp actually sat down with Birdman and Slim to discuss a potential partnership. Imagine that. The two biggest southern powerhouses joining forces. But that dream died fast. The meeting fell apart almost as soon as it began. Too many differences in business, street politics, and straight-up ego. Neither side wanted to play second fiddle. Then, when Priority Records, the same label that had backed Master P, showed interest in signing Cash Money, rumors say P stepped in and shut it down. In New Orleans, that wasn't just business, that was personal. Master P repped the Calio projects, Birdman was Magnolia to the bone. And those neighborhoods had long histories of rivalry. The streets might have been just a few miles apart, but the divide ran deep. Then came 1998, the year everything changed. Cash Money struck gold with Universal Records, locking in a monster 80-20 deal and a $30 million advance. That was unheard of at the time. And when Juvenile dropped 400 Degrees later that year, it was game over. Cash Money officially blew up. Ha took over the charts. BG's Chopper City in the Ghetto kept the fire burning, and suddenly Cash Money wasn't just local, they were global. But No Limit wasn't backing down. Master P clapped back with major moves of his own, signing Snoop Dogg after his messy fallout with Death Row, plus adding New Orleans legend Soulja Slim to the roster. That was a statement. Snoop wasn't just a West Coast icon, he was a symbol of how far P's reach had grown. That same year, No Limit dropped 23 albums. Yes, 23, selling over 15 million units and pulling in around $23 million. For a while, both empires ruled side by side, dominating radio, TV, and the streets like nobody else could. But just as fast as they rose, cracks started to show. Internal drama hit No Limit hard. Beats by the Pound fell out with Master P, and tragedy struck when Soulja Slim was unalived. The South's two giants had changed the game forever, but behind the success, both empires were starting to feel the pressure. By 2004, the storm had hit. No Limit was slowing down. The label that once ruled the streets was now weighed down by legal problems, money disputes, and way too many releases flooding the market. Master P was still moving, still hustling, but the golden era of No Limit was starting to fade. Meanwhile, across town, Lil Wayne was gearing up to change the game all over again. In 2009, he launched Young Money, and the world would never be the same. Signing Nicki Minaj, Drake, and Tyga, Wayne turned Cash Money into a global empire and started a new dynasty. Suddenly, the South wasn't just hot, it was running hip-hop. But make no mistake, the beef between No Limit and Cash Money was never just about hit songs or chart numbers. It ran deeper. It was about pride, neighborhoods, hustle, and legacy. Master P may have opened the doors, but Birdman, he kicked them clean off the hinges. The two never saw eye to eye, not in business, not in philosophy. Master P played chess, thinking 10 moves ahead. Birdman played dice, betting big and living fast. And yet, both men carved out legacies that defined Southern hip-hop forever. If Master P built the foundation, Birdman built the skyscraper right next door and didn't ask anyone's permission to do it. Their rivalry wasn't always loud, but it was real. And for the artists caught in between, loyalty wasn't just a slogan, it was survival. Because when you talk about real pioneers, people who flipped the game without scamming their own people, Master P's name better come up. He changed the way artists moved, how deals were made, and how ownership became the ultimate flex. Born Percy Miller in New Orleans, P didn't grow up privileged. He grew up hungry. Grit, game, and vision were all he needed. Before hip-hop was dripping in Bentleys and designer brands, Master P was out here in the streets, literally, selling tapes from the trunk of his car, city to city, hand to hand, like a lyrical hustler with a business plan. While other rappers were begging for deals, P was building one. Brick by brick, from the pavement to the penthouse, he created an empire off pure hustle and brains. And then came 1996, the year that flipped the entire music industry on its head. Master P signed one of the most legendary deals in hip-hop history, and the whole world had to respect it. When Master P walked into Priority Records, he didn't just sign a deal, he rewrote the rule book. He walked out with an 80-20 split. 80% for him, 20% for the label. That wasn't just rare, that was robbery in reverse. In an industry where most artists were lucky to see 10%, P flipped the script completely. He didn't just secure the bag, he bought the factory where the bags were made. While other rappers were busy chasing hits, Master P was out here making history. Even Snoop Dogg later said, "There was no real money in rap until Master P showed us the business side. Death Row had the power, but No Limit had the money." P made sure his artists were taken care of. Homes, cars, respect, and most importantly, real checks. No shady paperwork, no lifetime contracts, just business and loyalty. He wasn't out here trying to trap artists, he was teaching them how to win. And unlike most rappers who waited for labels to do the work, Master P was the label. He paid for his own marketing, hit the road himself, and pushed CDs like they were bricks of gold. He knew his worth, and he made the industry pay it. At one point, he dropped $250,000 hiring Michael Jackson's lawyer to structure that Priority deal. And it paid off. Every dime he made from his small retail store went straight back into his grind. Radio, BET, VH1, in-store posters, promo vans, you name it, P covered it all. By the time his music reached the city, he had already been there, shaking hands and locking down deals. Everywhere he went, he left behind the symbol of his empire, that gold tank. When his album Ice Cream Man dropped, it didn't just go gold, it blew up. 500,000 copies sold, and P kept 80% of the profits and 100% of the masters. That wasn't just hustle. That was legacy building. But of course, the industry didn't like seeing an independent man eat that good. Priority Records started throwing hidden fees at him. $200,000 here, $300,000 there, for marketing work that P had already paid for himself. But instead of flipping out, he stayed cool and played chess. He flipped the situation by telling Priority he was launching a new label, New No Limit Records, and needed extra funding to promote his new roster of artists. While they thought they were pulling strings, P was quietly building another empire. Master P wasn't just beating the game, he was owning it. Every move was strategy, every contract was power, and every tank logo stamped another chapter in hip-hop's most genius hustle. That money, Master P flipped it right back into his own grind. Every single dollar. The game might have belonged to the labels, but the hustle, that was all his. While other record companies were out here robbing their artists blind, Master P was out here handing out vision. He didn't just sign rappers, he turned them into bosses, CEOs, and brands with real ownership. He showed the hood something powerful, that you don't have to be exploited to be successful. Independence wasn't just a move, it was the real flex. Master P didn't just make money from rap, but he made rap make money for him. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you on the next one.